Yes, I'll admit it. I've been watching The Voice. It's one of the secret things that my girls love it. And hey, it's actually a pretty good show. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I have a man crush on Keith Urban. Anyway, hey, let's get stuck in, and some massive learnings that we can get in and around the marketing and selling from how it happens on The Voice and how you need to do it in your health and medical business. Yes, first of all, I will admit I watched The Voice. I actually like The Voice. Don't hold that against me. My kids love it, and as a net result, I use that as some good family time to sit down and watch it. Albeit we do actually record it and watch it a little bit later so that we don't have to listen to all the ads and things like that. But nonetheless, we do actually do it, and we really enjoy it. Now, here's the thing, actually. Precursor as well to that. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I love Keith Urban and I could possibly have a man crush on him. Anyway, moving on. We are in a situation where, as health and medical professionals, we need to be able to know how to better market and better sell in our industry. And the idea of selling is often a dirty word. It's obviously a situation that many people find a little bit well, it's not really our thing. You know, we want to try and help people. We want to be able to have impact, help people improve their lives. And as a net result, most health professionals find it a little bit distracting or not a good feeling to, you know, sort of have that mentality that they've got to sell. But ultimately, if you can't sell, then you can't grow your business or your team. You can't have as much impact. You can't help as many people if you can't ultimately sell. So let's all of a sudden... Well, straight up, let's just be real. Selling is not a dirty word, and you shouldn't feel dirty about it. You're not a used car salesman flogging off some lemon as a, you know, an $80,000 BMW or something like that. I mean, you're just not in that category, okay? So what do they do on The Voice? Well, for those that don't watch it, you probably understand there's four musical geniuses, judges, sitting in red chairs with their back turned. People come out on stage with different talents and abilities, and they sing whatever style, whatever they want to do. They sing, and if they impress the judges press a button, a big red button. It spins around their chair, and then the person does their 1 minute song. And as a net result, the judges then, if there's two chairs turn around, they have to pitch to the contestant as to why they want them on the team, etc. And so this is where the learnings come in for us. We often get plunged into situations where we get people being pushed towards us that might have been recommended to come and see us. Maybe their specialist or their doctor said that you need to go and see a physio or an EP or something like that, and they're not 100% sure, or they haven't been told directly which person to see. And as a net result, they are like the contestant on stage of The Voice. And it's ultimately up to us to be able to pitch to them in many respects. We've got to be able to pitch to them about how we can help, what's going to be best for them, etc. And that's the sort of the dirty feeling where people feel that they've got to sell. So there's a couple of things. One is what you'll learn by watching The Voice is the fact that what doesn't work is taking the mickey out of someone else. So if a judge was to try and talk down another judge or try and put someone else down, obviously it's a pretty simple one that people don't really take to that too well, and as a net result, it doesn't bode any fruit. They don't get the contestant on their team because people don't make purchasing decisions that way. So we know that that's not how we should be doing things. What actually does work with The Voice very, very well is all about the connection. So all the judges will sit there and they'll try and tell the person, talk them up, how great they are, how their tone is amazing, how they really feel that they could do something great with their voice and they could bring out this and do this with them. They've got some big songs they want to do, and they ultimately pitch, they sell, they push hard to try and convince that person to buy their process, buy their team, etc. Now, the challenge is that the vast majority of time, this is very clear, and what actually gets the person across the line is the judge that can actually make the connection with the person personally. Because we know, funnily enough, trust is in place right now. Every purchasing decision, there must be trust involved. The person who wants to buy from you and your team in the health and medical industry must, first of all, know you, which they ultimately do. They must like you, but they ultimately have to trust you before they'll agree to buy. And this is where the voice teaches us this, and we can learn so much from it, all right? It's the person like a Keith Urban who doesn't sit there and pitch hard at, we're so great. We can do all this amazing stuff. I do this, I do that, because that's not what works. So being on a phone call to someone saying, yes, we can do this, we can do that, we're amazing, doesn't get people fully across the line. When other judges on The Voice try and say, we could take you to do this and that, etc., again, that's not what resonates with the person. It doesn't get them across the line to choose them. What happens each and every time, it's the judge that connects and resonates, gets a message to the contestant that they can resonate with. It might be a connection that was potentially forged a long time ago by how the person acted and what they said and did. We've seen it multiple times on The Voice where someone's been like, I saw person X at a thing 10 years ago when I was a little girl, and you said to follow my dreams and do this, and you signed a thing, and I've always had you up on my wall, and I loved what you did at the such and such, 3 years ago. And right, they've already got that level of connection there. And so what that tells us is that so much of our marketing right now, it has to be laid down. The tracks have to be laid down today and tomorrow and the next day for what's going to be happening in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years. So if we just look at what's here and now about grow our business quickly now in the next couple of weeks, let's go and send a text message and make 5,000 new appointments next week and blah, right? It's not going to be the best way for you to build a long-term, stable, strong company and team that can make massive change to the lives around you. Yes, you might get some quick wins, but it's not the most structured way, the most stable and long-term viability for your business, because you're going to have to feed that monster every single week. But if you do it this way and create that connection and that level of authority and expertise now, it has a huge resonance with people in the months and years ahead. Now, there's a lot of people in our industry that I've worked this strategy with for many years. There's a good friend of mine, Nicole French, is one of our leading EPs down in Melbourne. I taught her this principle 5 or 6 years ago, and we spent months and months working on this. We spent about 2 years working on this, and this started to bear a huge amount of fruit. And she now freely admits it's all about creating that space of authority around your sort of areas of expertise. And now all of a sudden you become a spokesperson for different organizations. People go to you to ask for your opinion. And so you get heightened in the level of authority and expertise based on things like social proof. And that's what The Voice shows us and teaches us that works. And that's what we need to be able to glean and learn and utilize in our own businesses right now. What also works on The Voice is the way in which people connect with people personally. And someone like Keith Urban does it fantastically in The Voice. You have people wanting, again, other judges that want to talk about how great it is, how, I don't have a such and such a person in my team. I don't have this type of artist in my team, and I really need that. I could focus my attention on you, and people go, yeah, that's great, right? But it doesn't connect with them. Yet someone like Keith Urban always turns around and says, talk to me about your background. I think, you've probably grown up with your family in, in church or something, and you've been, singing as a family. Do you do songs as a family? And he dives into a connection on a very personal level with the person with their past. And every time Keith does it, or every time any judge does that and creates a connection of emotion and potentially has a connection or a link to their past, they always get the artist choosing them 100% of the time. Because what they've done is they've created an emotional attachment. They've created an emotional connection. And as a net result, the person resonates with them, feels like that this judge just gets them. This judge understands them. And as a net result, the connection is there and trust is formed. And you always make a decision based on trust. You always make a decision based on emotion, and you justify with logic. Now, no word of a lie, right now in the background out in the hallway here, I can hear one of Keith Urban's songs on, which is really ironic as I cut this podcast. But anyway, what it's teaching us in our businesses that we must be able to get that connection. You know, in the first 3 minutes of a new client, like an initial assessment, we need to be able to get that emotional hook. What are they really wanting to buy? How are they really wanting us to help them? We're not there to get rid of pain. We're getting an emotional connection and response, right? We need to be able to find that. And in the sales game, that's what we need to be able to do. We need to be able to get that connection with someone on a personal level so they can have that trust in their own mentality and brain straight away, because we know through science that we buy on emotion and then we justify with logic. Goes back to Simon Sinek's starts with why principle and the golden circle, right? The avenues of the neocortex and the limbic brain, etc., are in place that we feel like something's right. That's the connection. That's the emotional side. But we have no compassion for language in that area of the brain. And so as a net result, we justify with facts and figures and logic, just like they do on The Voice. Someone resonates with what's said, they have that connection, it emotionally feels right, and then they justify in their own head that this person is successful, they've said they can do a lot, they're going to spend time with me, they can do this, do that, and then we make a decision from there. So guys, whether you like it or not, The Voice is actually pretty powerful to be able to show us how we can better market, how we can better more so sell and confirm more appointments, convert more leads, and ultimately grow and scale our business to have more time, have more money, have more impact, and more freedom. So let's take the lessons from The Voice, let's apply them, and you watch your marketing become a lot more successful as you sell and are able to sell a lot more to a lot more people. And net result, you have more impact. And ultimately, that's why we got into the industry. I'll talk to you again very soon. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.